Welcome to Season 4 of Soccer Over Gotham, an NWSL podcast covering New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, hosted by Ruby Pinto and produced by Gary Gibson. Welcome to episode 97 of Soccer Over Gotham. We have a great show for all of you. Gary, what do we have in this episode?
Despite another solid defensive effort, Gotham ends their season opening road skid 1-1. We have on the podcast a bit of some airing of grievances. Gotham has some new merch and a trophy celebration coming up, and we will also have to address some Gotham player disrespect. We will also break down this game against the Courage as only we can. We got stats, and then we got some more stats. And then we will preview the home opener against the Courage, and our guest this week is none other than Jen from the Gotham supporter group Cloud9. It's good to check in with them, especially heading into the home opener. So, but Ruby, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be back for another episode. And like I was telling you earlier, trying to catch up on all these NWSL games. It's kind of hard with the limited time that I have. Plus, like I was telling you earlier, it's so crazy that in 2020, there was only 8 teams in the NWSL. Now we have 14, and it looks like they're going to announce a 16th team before the season ends. We should know about the other team. So that's crazy. It's great news for the league. And another thing, I finally listened to the band you recommended like a month ago. So, and I really like them for real. They're really good. They're The Warning. So thanks for the suggestion, Gary.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. I think you would like it. And I guess we're officially part of the Warning Army at this point. Yeah, they're incredible, and like they're a band that makes you feel stupid for not knowing who they are when you start listening to them. But yeah, I think of a new song dropping today, and yeah,
Ooh.
I haven't had the ability to listen to much music lately, and I just randomly found them. I'm not sure exactly how, but they're amazing. 3 sisters from Monterrey, Mexico. Yeah, go listen to them. They're incredible. Listen to their live stuff more than their studio stuff. It's much better. Anyway, so on to some Cloud9 news. So first, just Jen and Cloud9 are just awesome, and she's a good interview, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So we talk about just supporter culture, what motivates her, and what motivates them as a supporter group. They talk about all the good that they do in the community and just for the betterment of the sport. Also, we give a Red Bull Arena preview for those who have not been there. So spoiler, it's a magnificent place to watch soccer. If you really want to be connected to this team like never before, join your local supporter group. Cloud9 scarf designs are out. They look amazing. And it's Cloud9Goth everywhere on social media.
Yeah, amazing. I saw the scarf, and it's so nice. It's so nice, the Cloud9 supporter group scarf. On one side, it says bats fly together, and it has a little bat. It's amazing. On the other side, it has like a rainbow. It's really, really nice. So yeah, I think they're doing really well. They're working on a lot of stuff. Another thing I saw that they came out with was a beer, a Cloud9 beer that it's called Bats Fly Together. That's really cool. Hopefully someday I get to like try that beer.
On to Gotham national team news. Gotham national team plays on Saturday, April 6th at 12:30 p.m. I'll be watching from work. Do you have any thoughts on this matchup, Ruby?
I'm telling you, I've been waiting for this match against Japan because they didn't get to play against them in the World Cup. So this is going to be really, really good. Even though they're not going to face them in the Olympics, I still think it's really good for the USA to go against another top team, an elite team. We know Japan plays really, really well, very organized, very disciplined. Let's see how the young ones and also the veterans, because now a lot of people were questioning Morgan if she was going to be like going to the Olympics. So I think this is going to be another game where she will like make her case to go to the Olympics, which she'll look like she will go. She's been doing great. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, they got to show up because Japan comes to play. And my criticism of the national team in the past couple of games has just been that the interconnectedness of the team, they just don't seem to be working well together, and passing combinations have not been really good. And so I think that if they not play like coalesce together, then Japan's going to pick them apart, which they have the ability to do so. So we'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Kat Macario to be back in the lineup. So let's go, Kat. Speaking of the national team, not the Gotham national team, the regular national team, I just want to say that the recent LGBTQ plus social media activity linked to Corbin Albert is simply, it's just unacceptable.
Hmm.
The U.S. women's national team stands for inclusivity and respect, and these posts just contradict those values. So we here at Soccer Over Gotham, we condemn any messages like that, and we just hope that there's a lot of room for growth for her going forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's really heartbreaking to see like Corbin, who is a young player in the national team, with this, kind of things that she's been doing on social media. It's not acceptable at all, none at all. Especially in this team, the U.S. national team, they have been working so hard for equality. They have been working so much for gay rights, for Black Lives Matter, and for her to come and just do these hurtful things is not acceptable at all. I know that Morgan and Horan went to the media and told the media that they had a meeting with the team, closed doors, and they talked about this. Hopefully, she learns from this because this is not acceptable, especially if you're hurting people. It's okay to have your own views, but when it comes to hurting other people, that's not acceptable at all. Here at Soccer Over Gotham, yes, we support LGBTQ plus community. I myself, I'm married to a woman, so it hurts to know that someone with those kind of views is playing for the national team. We know that Megan Rapinoe came out with on social media as well, talking about Corbin. Um, so, and not funny thing, but the thing is that Corbin was wearing number 15 in the national team, and that's Rapinoe's, or was Rapinoe's number back in the day when she was playing before she retired. So I don't think she's holding to the standards of that number. I think she needs to do better.
I agree with you, and we will always be strive to be an ally for those communities. And we believe that we're always going to try to highlight LGBTQ plus athletes and share their stories. We donate regularly to the causes, and we hope that, like, even on this podcast, we have a welcoming and inclusive space for all marginalized community members. And you have a friend and an ally in us, and we promise everybody that.
Agree.
Yeah, soccer's for everybody except for bigots. Okay. so,
Agree.
we let's talk about the team itself. Now, after games, we get a lot of comments on social media saying, "Hey, do you have an update on this player, that player, that player, their injuries and stuff like that?" And I feel bad because I can never answer them correctly, and I feel like I'm hopefully people don't think I'm ignoring them, and that we're like not asking these questions, because we do ask these questions and we just don't get the answers we're looking for. This past week, we reached out to the club for news on any of the injured players, all like 9 or 10 of them, and we got a response that said, "We got no updates at this time." So there you go. We tried.
I mean, I guess no news is good news in that situation.
Yeah, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's frustrating, not just like for us covering the team. It's a league wide thing, and the league has to be better with talking about injuries, being more forthcoming with them. And like, so just we have one example just of this team with Abby Smith. We heard back on August 28th that she did not have a ruptured Achilles tendon. And that was the last news we got until preseason. And they said, well, she might be coming back soon. So that's frustrating because we're starting to enter into ruptured Achilles tendon timeline. So
Yeah.
it's like, so what was it? If it wasn't a ruptured Achilles, what has kept her out for 7+ months, right? So, like, as fans, we want to know these things, and as media people, we should definitely know these things. And I just think that it's going to take the league to adapt or get a sports betting sponsor before they start, being more forthcoming with these injuries, because they're going to want to know all those things when they make their pools and their bets and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that may be, what we have to do to get this league to start talking about
Yeah,
injuries.
that's true. I mean, yeah, like you said, we haven't heard back. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if she's like getting better, if she's the same, or if she's gonna come back to play anytime soon. We just don't know. And it's, yeah, like you said, it's kind of frustrating that we don't know, and we don't know how to answer the fans. Kind of sucks, but yeah, we try, guys.
Yeah, we're doing our homework. And another injury, like another thing that frustrates me is like Rose Lavelle. Like I don't know what to think at this point. So like my speculation is, again, this is purely speculation. Like I don't expect to see her back until the after the Olympics, which honestly
Oof.
we should be prepared for that. I mean, in her entire career, Rose has only played more than 12 games in a season twice. She's a player that's often injured, but it's frustrating to see that here. We spent a lot of resources to get her. We want to see her on the field. We want to see her healthy and playing the best soccer of her life. But we'll see when that happens. So it is what it
Well,
is.
I guess if we get 12 games, we're gonna be lucky.
Yeah.
Hopefully, most of those games are home games, so we get to see her in person playing. But after the Olympics, that's kind of rough. And yeah, like you said, we kind of expected it, but that's a long time. And with all these injuries, it makes me think, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but does Gotham stand a chance this season? Because we were kind of counting with like this powerhouse of players coming to Gotham. And every time we see that injury list, it kind of gets bigger, and it's really disappointing. Well, it's heartbreaking, not disappointing, because it's not that like they want to get hurt. So who knows? But I do know that Gotham has a strong defense. So I think that's what's gonna like keep us going this season.
Yeah, if there's any team that could weather this kind of storm, it's Gotham. Their roster is just too deep, and we'll definitely get into like the results we've had so far against some really top teams are very heartening when you look back and see how many players we've had out. So let's go talk about some games. With the one game coming up on the 14th, this is going to be Gotham dubbed this one the Blackout. They're going to have Blackout merchandise for at the home opener. And Gotham will be unveiling the championship banner and having a ring ceremony at the stadium, which is exciting, Ruby.
Yeah, that is exciting. But I kind of don't like that this is happening when players who were Gotham players are not here anymore, like Mandy Hot, Dorsey, Ellie Jean, among others. But I think it is great for the team, and it's great for them to get the recognition, and in front of the fans, because the celebration that happened back in November was only for season ticket members. So it will be really cool to see this celebration at the home opener. You mentioned that, the blackout for Gotham on the 14th. I think I like that. They want to go dark, and then they just want to like embrace that, I guess, that Gotham Batman kind of theme and Bats theme.
Yes. And also at that game, they're pulling out all the stops. They're going to have the one and only hashtag always Gotham, Ali Krieger on hand for that game. She's going to be signing autographs, taking pictures, which is going to be amazing. They also have former Super Bowl champion MVP Eli Manning here as well, and the vice president of fitness programming and head instructor at Peloton, Robin Arzon, will be taking part in the pregame festivities by lighting the torch. Very, very exciting, Ruby.
It's really cool that Ali Krieger still gets to come back to Red Bull Arena and to the Gotham games, because she is working here in New York City, so it's easy for her to come to these games. So I think that's really cool. Now, I don't know if I'm the only one thinking about this, but if Ali Krieger is more involved with Gotham now, does that mean that Ashton Harris is not working for Gotham anymore? Once upon a time, she was creative director or something like that for Gotham, but haven't heard anything about that. Again, Gotham doesn't communicate these things, but it's kind of things that come to my mind. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking these things.
There's been a lot of turnover in the back end. I don't know. I couldn't speculate on that. I don't know anything. However, let's talk about some disrespect that I found. So I read anything that has to do with Gotham. So if I see anybody writing an article about Gotham, I want to know what they want, what they say. Now, who wrote this article doesn't matter, because I probably forgot it already. What jumped out to me and almost made me drop my phone was I saw this little snippet about Emily Sonnet playing for Gotham and how she's further up the pitch than her normal defensive mid position. I found funny was this line. This is funny to me. It said, quote, "The general assumption was that she would play defensive midfield. taking over from or rotating with Neely Martin. And that made me almost drop my phone. I was like, who made this assumption? Not us, not our fans, not Gotham fans. Nobody in our circle would be thinking that, Sonic's just going to
Yeah.
walk in here and take over for Neely Martin.
No
So,
way. Yeah, no way. I think that was a mistake assuming. I mean, we never know what mad scientist Juan Carlos is going to do. And I mean, Neely Martin has earned her spot, so it will be really hard to like just get her out of there. She's solid.
yeah, put some respect on Neely Martin's name. She kept McCall Zerboni and Ali Long off the field last season. I think she's doing okay. And the sixes are always like underrated in the media, unless you're like Julie Ertz. Like
Yeah.
sixes are usually like, in the background. But Neely is the heart and engine of this team, and our defensive performances have hinged a lot on her performances as well. So you can't just look at the center backs. You look at that person sitting right in front of him. She's having a great start to the season. Speaking of the start of the season, let's talk about this game, Ruby, shall we?
Let's go.
Okay, so a hobbled Gotham FC stood stout defensively against the highest scoring team in the league in 2023. They won their last 5 games against the Courage and have not lost in 4 straight away games. Now, the Courage have been awarded the most penalties this season at 3, and they are second in goals scored per match. And they also added Ashley Sanchez. I'm sure that helps. Now, onto the roster. This is that crazy long injury list that we have. Hopefully, we start seeing some of these players come off of these next 2 weeks. Kristen Edmonds was out for her knee. Shade Farley is out with her thigh. Rose Lavelle was out with a lower leg. Midge Purse is now season-end injuring with her knee. Boo. Abby Smith, season-ending lower leg injury. Taylor Smith, season-ending for thigh. Lynn Williams was out for her thigh. And McCall Zerboni, season-ending knee. I'll repeat what I said last time out. Both Abby Smith and McCall Zerboni can come off the season-ending injury list once they pass their return to play protocols. So what are your thoughts on this injury list? Seems like we're going the wrong direction here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Wrong direction. I would like to see this list get shorter and shorter every week as we go, but it doesn't seem that way. Thank God last week nobody got hurt.
Yeah. One small note on the Courage's injury list, and it has former Gotham player Estelle Johnson out for maternity leave, so congrats to her.
Wow, congrats. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's why we haven't seen her. Anyway, let's get over to the formation. Now, this is the trusted 4-3-3 that we've been using for a long time, and Miller is back in goal after her big performance last week. We got this back line was really good. Niswonger, Davidson, Hyatt, and Bernina. It's good to see Hyatt get another start from last week. That midfield of Martin, Sheehan, and Sonnet. Then we had Dunn on the left, Ryan on the right, and Esther up top. Ryan filling in for Midge Purse. Lopez is back in the 18, which is very, very exciting. And backup keeper McKinney made the 18, which is exciting for her as well. Hashtag once Gotham and former guests Brianna Pinto and Victoria Pickett were in the 11 for the Courage. Your thoughts on the lineup, Ruby?
First of all, I'm not surprised that Pinto and Pickett are starting for the Courage. They have great talent. Unfortunately, they're not here, but yeah, doesn't surprise me. Now, on our lineup, I think this is the best lineup considering how many players are out with injuries. I really like that Bernina and Ryan, who were the game changers last game, started in this game. And don't kill me, but I think for this game, I would have liked to see Stengel starting in this lineup. Maybe put Dunn where Sheehan is, and then Stengel where Dunn is. That's just me. I think that Dunn has the speed to help defend and to attack.
Well, we'll get into it. It does feel a little bit like the newcomers are taking a little bit of time to getting up to the speed of the system and the specificity of the system. So yeah, they got to get up to speed eventually. So it's good they're playing. But with Stengel, you're right. She would have been more adapted to the system. She knows what was expected of her, and she's in a little better form with the team in that case. So I agree with you there. But onto this game, this was a tale of two halves of the first half. Gotham dominated the first 20-25 minutes. They pinned the Courage in, and it's not every game where you're going to get 60 plus possession advantage against the Courage, and they did have that for the first half of the first half. They were turning them over. They were dominating the middle of the park. The Courage settled in the half, and then they ended up even in possession. The first shot from the Courage came in the 33rd minute. That's how good Gotham was doing, keeping the Courage on their side of the field. The best chance for Gotham came when Ryan smacked the crossbar, and you could hear that all the way through the broadcast. She hit that hard. And Murphy has no chance if that's on target. Then it was just a dagger to the heart. The Courage get only one chance, and they convert. The ball finds Brianna Pinto a yard from goal in the center of the pitch, and that shot had a 0.90 post-shot expected goals, which is unreal. There's not many places on the pitch where you're going to get a 0.9 post-shots expected goals other than like right in front of the goal. So, for example, Ryan's crossbar hit was a 0.27 post-shot expected goal. So, yeah, there's that. So, Ruby, your takeaways from this first half?
Wow, that's crazy. But for real, Ryan with that shot, oh my God, if that would have gone in, that would have been a banger. Like you said, it had so much force when it hit the post. Yeah, you could see the post. Well, I didn't see it, but you could hear that it probably was like shaking. It was a really, really good shot. Man, so too bad she missed. Too bad. I think it was a little tough to watch this game. I think Gotham is is a better team than the Courage, but they have not found the right combination for this team to flow on the pitch, and it still kind of looks choppy to me.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Yeah, it did feel very choppy, especially in the attacking third. And the tale of this season so far is to not let teams hang around. And in the first game, Gotham let San Diego hang around, and then Portland let Gotham hang around, and then the Gotham let the Courage hang around. And obviously, like players like Morgan only needs one chance, Esther only needs one chance, and then the Courage only need one chance on goal. And so what I'm saying is like you create your own luck in soccer, and you keep putting yourself into 50-50 games, and sometimes the result is just not going to go your way.
Yeah. The moral of the story is don't let teams hang around.
You got it.
No, but for real, they need to keep working on playing on tight spaces and more accurate passing and better definition.
Yeah. Any player notes for this first half?
Jasmine Ryan, I mean, she's looking dangerous this season. I feel she has started strong, and so far she has only one assist, but the way she has been performing in these games has set the tone, and her ceiling is just so high.
The only thing she's missing is that final product, and she's almost there. She's
Yep.
almost there, and she starts hitting one or two of those. And she's going to be a top tier player. We had a really good matchup on our hands with Sheehan and O'Sullivan, and I think Delaney does a good job early on bottling Denise up in the middle of the park. It kind of forced O'Sullivan to go side to side and find space elsewhere, because I think Delaney did really well, just again bottling her up in the middle of the field. Sometimes, speaking of Delaney, I feel like she should have a little bit more gamesmanship sometimes. She's a very strong player. She's very physical, and she can get herself out of a lot of bad situations and tackles. Sometimes I just want her just to take a good one, take it down,
Yeah.
take a foul. You're around the box, get an opportunity. Sometimes you get a little gamesmanship and just take a foul. Now, getting over to this second half, there's not much in this second half. There's 0 shots on target for either side. The Courage were under siege for pretty much most of the second half. They had 28 clearances and they had 7 blocks, and Gotham only had 5 clearances and 3 blocks. They just could not break down the Courage's blockade, and it just ended up a disappointing 1-0 loss. Ruby, any takeaways?
Yeah. Disappointing is right. But it's still really early into the season, and we have hope that it's just going to get better from here. I mean, they still have time to iron out all the kinks. And again, we just need better finishing from our forwards.
Yeah, 1 goal changes this entire game. And if Ryan hits that 1 goal, the way it forces the Courage to come out, yeah, it would have been a completely different affair at that point. But everybody just listen. These are solid performances defensively. It's obvious that, the defense is not going to be the issue this season. It is whether this team can create more chances and get better results from wide areas. Last
Yeah.
season, the wide areas were the attacking strength. And when you're missing Mitch Purse and Lynn Williams, somebody's got to step up and somebody's got to play from the wide areas. And we really don't have a player like that except for maybe Taylor Smith, who's also injured.
Yeah.
So who knows? We got to find someone who can come in from wide areas. Any player notes?
Yeah. So for the second half, I feel like Esther was pretty quiet in this game against the Courage. I think they did a great job like being on her and kind of just mitigate her danger on the field. This is not a player note, but I do want to just comment on Juan Carlos' talk after the game with the players. He pointed out all the positive things and just encouraged the team to keep going. And I really like that he did that because I mean after a loss, you just feel like crap. And then if your coach comes and just tells you the negative, we should have done this, we should have done that, you're just going to feel more like crap. So, I mean, I bet the players already felt that way. So, for him to come and just like encourage them and let them know what they did and they just kept fighting, I think that's really good. That's really good. So, yeah, I like his style.
Yeah, there's nothing to take away from, we'll get this, but like there's nothing to take away from this game that's really negative. Gotham played a very good game. Sometimes it just does not go your way. And obviously as a player, you want to win all the time and you're disappointed when you don't. And you always look over pour over your mistakes. But at the end of the day, sometimes you do everything right and you still lose. It happens. That is the game of life. On to a player note, though. I just want to say welcome back, Maitani. Obviously, the defense wasn't the problem here, and Hyatt has been more than adequate. But I think just Maitani's calm presence and her ability to pass out of the back just can only help this squad. So keeping her healthy all season is going to be very, very important. And as we were talking about earlier, Ryan, I think she's been the best player for Gotham over the past game and a half. And this game, she created four chances and she got one shot, the only shot on target. So she had a fantastic game, and I'm just proud of Ryan. So any final takeaways?
I'm going to go back to Esther, and I feel like the team is right now really depending on her to score. And again, there should be more options for other players to score, not just Esther. I kind of hear during the broadcast, they just kept saying, like, just kind of like pass it to Esther. And I mean, she's a great player. She can score some bangers, but I felt it was a little too predictable, and the courage would be on her, and they would like just read the play. So I think we need more than justice there.
Yeah, there's parts of her game where you like that she's dropping back, she's helping her teammates and stuff like that, but she shouldn't have to be doing that so much. She should be able to stay up top, and we should be able to find her in space and not getting the assists from wide areas as we talked about earlier. So we need to definitely work on that. But Ruby, like after going 1-1 after 2 games on the road, it's not a bad start.
Nope.
So there's a lot of positives to take away considering how little this team has had to gel. It's good. It was a rough start. I mean, against national teamers heading away, lots of injuries, and we're talking about the San Diego Wave, who's Challenge Cup champions. We went to Portland, who's an extremely good team, especially at home. And then we went to the Courage, who's leveled up, and they're an excellent team at home as well. They're leading the league in shutouts at home over the past couple of years, so they're a really good team too. This has been a gauntlet. So, but I'm just hoping these next 2 weeks we get healthy. But let's talk about some things. Let's talk about some concerns about not scoring, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. But not having Lynn and Midge is a big issue. So who do you think is going to fill in for those spots?
I mean, it is a really big issue because Lynn Williams came to Gotham and pretty much like turned it around. She was scoring for Gotham. And then when Lynn Williams linked up with Midge, they were just an incredible duo on the pitch. Now, both of these players are out. Unfortunately, Midge will be out for the remainder of the season due to her injury. And we don't know when we're going to see Lynn Williams back. Hopefully, we get to see her at least one game or a couple games before she goes to the Olympics. We don't know how long her injury is going to take, but it is concerning. Who needs to step up? Well, we already seen it. Jasmine Ryan has been one of the players that have been stepping up for Gotham out there, putting in the work. Another player that has been stepping up, it's Esther. But I would like to see more from Stengel. and that's another player that has a lot of potential. We've seen her in the last season when she came over on a loan, and she did great. She was scoring every other game, which was incredible. She also can put amazing goals in the net. So I think if we give her a little more of opportunity or more playing time, I think she will be a player that will be good for Gotham. What
Yeah,
about you?
if Brunina and Jenna Nicemark are on this roster, you might also want to push O'Hara up a little bit higher on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You could also sit her back and push Nicemark higher up on the pitch. So I think we have options. But yeah, that's something that I think we should definitely have to figure out. And another thing I think they have to figure out is I think they're just being too patient. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about this in the stats, but just a lot of touches around the box and just not getting shots on target. It's too many passes, too many people not taking shots, and you see other teams that we played against, like you look at Sophia Smith. She never saw a shot that she didn't want to take.
Yeah.
And you take enough shots, you're eventually going to find the back of the net. And I think Gotham needs to be less patient and just drive directly to goal.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have to be a little more determined. I feel they kind of like I don't know if this is the right word, but they kind of like pause when they get to the final third and they just pass around the ball. I think they need to be a little more direct. Maybe even surprise these teams with long shots. We know that Dunn is playing as a forward for Gotham. She has the speed to run. So Jasmine Ryan also has the speed to run. So those long balls will to surprise the other team. I think these players could take that.
Yeah, and I think there's two other there's another concern for this team is we are getting a ton. We're getting a ton of corner kicks. We're just
Yeah.
we have not put any of them on frame. And if you look, we'll get this when we get to our breakdown of the next game. But teams that do well can score off of set pieces, and we have not been able to do that since a long time. I think probably the Ali Long free kick is the last free kick goal we scored on, and it seems like ages ago. Yeah, it's another thing we should definitely talk about. But let's get to some stats. Ruby, you have any stats of the game?
And I'm so glad you brought up corners because that's my stat of the game. 7 corners for Gotham in this game. Unfortunately, they were not able to convert. So yeah, they need to work on those corners and just capitalize on those opportunities.
Yeah, I don't know what they got to do. It's just corners are all about who wants it more, and I don't know. I don't have a solution to corners, but other than like putting Macy Bell and letting her dunk on everybody. But so my stat are NWSL Field of Vision stats of the game. There are a lot. 39 touches in the Courage's 18. That's a lot. And they had 0 shots on target, as we were just talking about. The only shots came from outside the 18. And Gotham is last in the league at shots on target per game. But they are first in the league in goals given up per game. So we got that going for us. Let's get to player of the game, our hero of the game now. And it was Davison at 40%, and then Ryan at 26%, Hyatt and Sheehan around 15 to 20%. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we have rebranded Gary. We're hero of the match. But anyway, for me, this was a close one between Davidson and Ryan, but for me, it's Ryan. I think she has a force, she has a drive, and she's determined this season. So yeah, for me, I think she did pretty well in this game. So for me, the hero of the match was Ryan. How about you?
I agree with you. Yasmin was everywhere on this bench. She had 12 recoveries. She was looking like Lynn Williams with all those recoveries.
Yeah.
She created the 4 chances. She had the highest rating on FOTMob, and she had 100% shot accuracy. She took the 1 shot. But yeah, so let's get to the standings. We are in the top of the standings of the teams we've been playing against. And we got the Kansas City Current, the number 1 team in the standings, coming to town. Then behind them, surprisingly, the Chicago Red Stars. And I guess quick shout out to #OnceGotham, Jenna Bike, her first full start this season, and she was awesome. So I'm just really proud of her. We here at the podcast, and I'd say us too, and Jenna Tonelli are the early, I guess you can say, bike truthers out there.
Yeah.
Then North Carolina Courage, who just beat us, and then the Washington Spirit, Houston Dash, and San Diego Wave sit above us at 6th. Boo! And then Gotham at number 7. Then it is also good to see Portland and Angel City at the bottom of the table again for another week. So let's rejoice while we can. Now, our next opponent is a good one. Obviously, top. Gotham is the top defensive team in the league by far. I think we got a game in hand, which is also good. We can climb the table if we can get a win here. KC is just simply flying. Their new stadium brought them some new energy, and they are the top scoring team of the league and top of the table. They're scoring 3.7 goals per game, which is an insane clip. Ruby, your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, even though KC is a top scoring team with 10 goals, they also have given up a lot of goals. They have given up 8 goals. So I think Gotham will put a stop to their high scoring games because Gotham has a solid defense.
Yeah, I think this is all about the midfield. Last year was a battle of the midfield. I think this year is going to be the same. And I think if Gotham control the midfield, they can stop the transition because KC is a deadly transition team. They strike really fast, and you just cannot let them break free on you guys. So another team like Gotham with a lot of injuries. Cooper was out of their last game as well as Prince. So we'll just have to see what happens over these next weeks with what lineup either team is going to field with all these injuries.
And another advantage that we have right now is that, they're going to come to Red Bull Arena, which is our home. So that should be an advantage for Gotham to play better. They're familiar with Red Bull Arena, not the new players, but most of them are familiar with the arena. So I think it should be an advantage for them. Plus, I mean, Red Bull Arena is top class for soccer. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, hopefully it's, a decent time on a Sunday. Hopefully we can get a lot of people out there. It's going to be loud and raucous. And obviously, if you're going to go to a game, go to this one because Ali Krieger is going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, get the merch. But as you mentioned, KC is vulnerable at the back. They gave up 2 goals off of corner kicks. So if there's any chance Gotham's going to score off a corner kick, this is the one.
Yep.
And then, as you mentioned, also KC has scored 11, but they've given up, I think you said 8 goals, 7 or 8 goals. Can Gotham score more than 1 goal in a game? That's the question here. I guess we'll have to just tune in to find out. So what are we manifesting this week?
So for that injury list to get shorter.
Yes, same. And a corner kick goal.
Yes, a corner kick goal. That would be awesome. But who would score that? Who do you think would be the most likely to score a corner?
It would be the least likely to score. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Delaney Sheehan. I need you to say she's not a goal scorer again.
Okay. Oh my God. Well, that would be awesome if she scores because, yeah, I'm not expecting a goal from Sheehan.
There you go. It's out there. All right. Any random thoughts before we head out?
Yes, I do have a random thought. So today I was watching the YouTube channel, the Hot Ones, where you go and
okay.
Where the host interviews you and you keep eating the wings. As you keep eating a wing, it gets hotter and hotter. So I thought that was really interesting. I have not really watched one whole episode, and today I did because it was Shakira on it, of course.
Oh.
And and I was like, oh, this is a great show. So I was like, how can we do something like this, but like soccer and not wings because we can't really steal their idea. So yeah, that was my random thought of the day.
Okay. That is an interesting. Candy corn? No candy corn. It's like spicy candy corn. Yeah. So we have Shakira's album's coming out soon, right?
It came out a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so that's why she's everywhere right now.
Yeah, I'm so behind. It was like Beyonce, Shakira.
Beyonce too. Yeah, so it's all about Shakira and Beyonce right now.
Yes, and The Warning, and that's going to be a good year for music for us, which would be good.
Yeah.
So my just quick random thought is, how is Gotham not going to have a Star Wars night on May 4th when it's the May the 4th be with you day? I don't know.
Hey, I mean, I feel like they've been listening to our idea, so maybe if it comes out somewhere, it was our idea. It was Gary's idea.
Yes, come to the dark side. We're going to hopefully have a Star Wars theme night. We'll see what happens. But all right, I am ready for this interview with Jen from Cloud9. Again, I love them. They are the lifeblood of the sport. And when I drew up what I wanted to see out of this podcast, and one of the lines that stuck out to me was, "You can't tell the stories of the league without the supporter groups." And I was like, "Yep, that's it. You can't do it." Any podcast that attempts to do it either as a team podcast or a league podcast, if you're not including the supporter groups, you're not doing your job. So we love them. And yeah, can't wait to hear just a quick catch up with Jen and what they're up to. Maybe there will be a TIFO for the first game. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's incredible. And for that game against San Diego for the Challenge Cup, oh my God, they were so loud. So hopefully, uh, and throughout the season, we get to hear them being so loud for every home game.
Yeah, I know I say this every time, but I'm going to try really hard to get to with this tailgate. I'm going to try. I just got to get my homework done. Got to do it because it's on a Sunday. I might be able to make it, so we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you all there. All right, ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, fans, that roar of the crowd at Red Bull Arena, it's not just random people making noise. It is your supporter group. They are the organized club that's going to cheer, throw the flags, do the drums, put those tifos out. They create electric atmosphere. Every time you go to Red Bull Arena, it's unmistakable that it is their home stadium. And they push the team forward, and it brings so much passion to the beautiful game. I love supporter groups wholeheartedly, and I love our supporter group, Cloud9. And who better to tell the story of Cloud9 than is Jen? How are you, Jen?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic, and it's good always to have you back on. And yeah, I'm excited to get back to Red Bull Arena soon. But I know it's been a long time since we talked, and the listeners probably shouldn't listen to the first season of our podcast. It was pretty poor. So for those who don't know who you are, tell a little bit about like your supporter group hero story. Like, when did you start following this club?
I was followed them casually in WPS. My first game was probably in 2010. There was a long stretch, well, not long, I guess about 4 years since I went back to another game. In the meantime, I still am a part of Empire Supporters Club, the Red Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I kind of started my supporter experience, was through them, and I was a board member for a while.
Yeah, and like, how does being a part of a supporter group enhance your experience as a fan, just you personally?
It's my chosen family. You know, it's a social club. It's, as I always say, it's your instant soccer friends. Just the people I've met, and you just can't beat it. And the relationship we have with the team and the players. I don't know. It's there's a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of shit, in your life. There's, it's good to go back home into the sports culture.
Yeah, sense of community, sense of friendship,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something that's bigger than yourself, and it's. And I know that being as part of a supporter group is tough sometimes. Obviously, this league has not been run the way it should be for a long time. We've talked about that many times. But so what keeps you going through all of that? Through when things are just not going well. I mean, you guys have been doing this for so long and through so much. It's like, is it the same sense of community?
Yeah, I mean, it's leaning on each other. It's, when we had, we finished in last place a couple years ago. It was, what kept us going is knowing we you show up and your friends are going to be there no matter what. And it's, the players that we support, they're good people, and you want to be there for the highs, but it's just as important to be there for them in the lows.
And one of my favorite moments in just covering soccer and being there was that last game when the team was like in the dumps. The last game against was a Portland,
Yeah.
right? Yes, absolutely. And you guys were just going all out, just having fun, and that team just could not lose on that night. I think it's partially because of the oomph and the support that you give the players, and obviously it's all centered around the players and their well being. And when it comes to like supporting the players, obviously all those initiatives that you guys did over the years. So talk about some of those initiatives, like I guess with no more side hustles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of in conjunction with the Players Association, through ISC, the Independent Supporters Council. We helped amplify their message during that campaign, both during the no more side hustles. I think there was no more silence.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's not only bringing us together as a group, that's bringing supporting groups together as a whole throughout the league.
Yeah, it brings fans. It's in near the fans' voice. So I always tell the fans, like, if you want your voice heard, going through the supporter groups is the way to do it, because you guys are always there in the trenches, fighting and fighting and fighting, and you've been through the lows, and now you've been through the highs. So you took the trip all the way to San Diego, did you not?
Yeah, I did.
So what was that experience like for you? I mean, how is it different from a regular game at Red Bull Arena for you guys?
I mean, the whole thing was a blur from the moment the whistle blew with the semifinal. Like, it was just a scramble to. I mean, I already had flights. I was already going out there, but making sure folks had places, people to stay with. You know, just figuring out how we're getting all of our stuff out there. Yeah, so that week was an absolute blur, to be honest.
And you got to see, like, obviously, we just talked about some of the initiatives that you guys have put together and worked on in conjunction with the Players Association, other supporter groups. But to see players like Sinead Farley and Mana Shim kind of reap the fruits of like all of your labor together, like, what does that mean to you to see those players win a championship back in the league?
I mean, the word I go back to is joy, and to see them sell. Not everything was caught on camera, so I mean, to be there in person and watch them celebrating together, it was more than a few tears were shed in the stands watching that.
The one thing that was caught on camera was one of one of our all favorite players, but Mandy Freeman, just saying there sobbing while you guys were chanting her name, and she deserves all of that. And that must have been such a cool thing to experience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. She went through the shit during your sack years, and Amani too. I think Amani came a year after her. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just for her to still be standing, here, it's just so happy for her.
And how did it feel for you guys as a supporter group to be able to walk with the trophy with the team after so many years of going through all of that?
It was surreal to begin with. It didn't hit me for a while. It probably didn't hit me until I actually got my hands on the trophy itself. But you just, I for one just thought about all the players that had come before, and it's for them. It's that win for them too. And to have players back like O'Hara, to celebrate with us. Like I said with Maddie, players that went through the shit. It's just really special.
Yeah, the fans, the players, it was an amazing thing, and obviously when it is what it is. But the team was not going to celebrate until later on. You guys fought for it, you got it, and it was small, but it was amazing, and it was just a way to show off. And I think it went about as well as it could go. So thank you guys for fighting for that as well. And you got some new stuff coming out. Obviously, there's new scarves. It's an audio podcast, but describe us what the scarves look like. They look pretty cool.
Well, we always have a Cloud9 branded side, and we have our tagline, the hashtag that we started with the playoffs, and that's Bats Fly Together. I believe Marge came up with that because she's a Mighty Ducks fan. And the reverse is You're a Shining Star.
That is cool. And where can they get them?
All you gotta do is sign up for membership. Go to Cloud9Goth.com and click on the membership link.
Yes, I always do that, like, just as a matter of habit. Are we picking those up at the game? Is that what's going on?
We'll everyone cross their fingers that they will be in hand by the game. That's the plan, but you never know with international shipping.
What would you say is the core values of like a supporter group?
I mean, inclusion, acceptance, first and foremost. Yeah, I mean, those are the big ones. We want to make sure everyone is knows that they belong and that they're wanted, no matter who they are. Of course, they're bigots. That's not wanted, but yeah. I mean, we want to make sure that it's we try our best not to gatekeep.
Except if they're wearing another team's colors, then.
Well, for sure, it's Gotham fans only. But
Of course. And like, how do you think the supporter groups like foster that sense? Obviously, is it just allowing everybody to be there? Is it creating the songbooks for everybody? Is it how do you do all that as a
I
group?
mean, it's by your actions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can nail it down to a specific thing, but just being good people. And we're all going to make mistakes, but you know acknowledging when you make mistakes and rectifying it. Um, I think that's a big thing. Even like the team did with the celebration. Admit you messed up and rectify the situation. We also have to live by that.
And I know that supporter groups do a lot as far as the community events and stuff like that, giving back to charity. I know you guys did a bat charity last year. Was it that
Oh,
was that last year?
that was sort of individuals on their own.
Individuals. Okay.
Yeah, it was per Lynn Williams
That's right.
poll. There's a
Yeah.
bat sanctuary in Texas.
We should do that again. That's fun.
Sure.
But you also do other charity stuff. So talk about some of the charity stuff that you guys do.
Well, we do the annual Pride Raiser for the Ali Forney Center. We did, when the Challenge Cup was an actual tournament, we did do a fundraiser with other NWSL groups, and our organization was Baji, the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. We will, we'll find a way to support them again this year, even though there's no tournament. We do things for the AIDS Resource Foundation for Children, which is based in Newark.
Yes, was that the Amazon thing? The
Yeah,
Amazon
so
wish list thing? Okay.
Yeah, we do an annual, basically wish list for one of their adult transition housings. It's called the Salon, and it's for HIV positive women who are survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Amazing.
So they send us a wish list, and we get what we can from it.
Absolutely. And so, on a normal game day, what can people expect from you guys?
A tailgate. It'll vary depending on the time. We have a lot of early games this year, but we bring the grill out when we can. A lot of times it's BYO, but we're there. We're in the lot. Anybody's welcome to come say hi, no matter what team they support. We're in when gates open, and then we're do our best to be fun loud for 90 minutes. And
I'm going to do my best. Again, if I can get all my homework done, I'm going to try to get there for the tailgate. I'm trying. But I do like when I get to the stadium like 5 minutes before it's ready to kick off and I just hear those drums going. Gets your intensity up. It definitely does. And let's talk about Red Bull Arena. Obviously, like how would you describe Red Bull Arena? Because it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to every stadium, but it's home. It's a cathedral. You really appreciate that roof when it rains, unless the wind is blowing in. But I haven't sat everywhere, but there's great views everywhere. I know traffic can be an issue, and the path is never quite on time, but I think it's an ideal location for mass transit. And even driving in, I would just say get there early.
Yeah, always get there early. Don't be like me. Yeah. And with Red Bull Arena, it's just built for the fan experience, not just for soccer, but for the fan experience. With the way the overhang on the stadium is, it keeps all the sound down. You can get 5,000 people in there and sound like 20,000 people. And when you get 15,000 in there, it sounds like 30,000. It's incredible. And speaking of the rain, were you at the Red Bull game with the rain the past week? You were there. That was incredible. That is another thing about Red Bull Arena is, I know I talk about this a lot. It's my thing, I guess. But the field is impeccable. Like, doesn't matter how that was a monsoon type rain, but that field is still perfect. Even in all that rain, it's an amazing pitch. And I've sat all over that stadium. I've sat from the cheap seats all the way down to first row on the field seats, and there's not a bad view in the house, and you're going to have a good time no matter any times you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Red Bull Arena. If fans don't know this, Red Bull Arena wins awards for safety almost every year as well. So you're going to have a good experience. You're going to hopefully have a safe experience, and you're going to have a good time. And it's going to be amazing. And they're adding more food choices this year. Have you tried any of the new food choices?
I did. I managed to get in on the Red Bull season ticket holder, like Delaware North food tasting event.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So obviously not everything is open, but hopefully with attendance going up, they'll have more stuff open. The bodega bites are really good. If you don't know, like on the north, I guess it's the northwest corner, there's a bodega, basically. I think it's usually open for Gotham games, but they're basically like these cheese cubes that are deep fried with like a yucca flour.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, really good.
Also, fan tip for the fans out there: use the mobile ordering. It's so much easier than standing in that line. Just get you right through.
Yeah,
yeah, it's the way to go. And as a vegan, they added a Beyond Meat tacos, which is good. I mean, you can't really put much on it, but it's different because you have brisas, which is like a staple. And brisas is good for everybody. They have vegan and non-vegan stuff, but having another option besides brisas, sorry brisas, but sometimes it's too much.
There's a new donut place too, like these gourmet donuts.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 little stands that I've seen so far.
Yeah, very good. So this coming for the 14th, we have anything big planned for the 14th? Any large TIFOs, anything like that?
Yeah, our annual opening day TIFO, for sure.
Fantastic. All right, Jen. So that was a fun little interview. It was good to have you back on, and I'm glad we can talk to you anytime. And obviously, supporter groups are the best. So anytime we can have you guys on, let me know. And if you have any ideas for any shows that we can go behind the scenes and stuff like that, let us know. We'll do it because we love you guys.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Gotham returns on the 14th on Sunday, which is going to be amazing. Hopefully it's going to be good weather. It's been a little bit April showers on the nose, right? This past couple of days. Yeah, it's been crazy. So, but we're ready to get this matchup against KC. It's always going to be a good night against KC. So I'm excited. You excited?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Hi, everyone. This is Gary. Thank you for listening and supporting our project. Here are other ways you can support the show and connect with us. First, word of mouth is everything. So please share our show with anyone who might listen. Also, please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and review us on iTunes. You can purchase our merchandise at the TeePublic store. Join in the conversation on Twitter at OverGothamPod and Instagram at SoccerOverGotham. Lastly, you can email your thoughts and questions at soccerovergotham@gmail.com. Once again, thank you.